Today, we're talking Ohio State wide receiver Jaxon Smith-Njigba. We're going to dive into his background and college career, discuss the positives and negatives in his prospect profile, and take a look at his dynasty outlook and if and where you should target him in your rookie drafts. Jaxon Smith-Njigba is a wide receiver out of Ohio State. He's a junior, he's 21 years old, and he's listed at 6'1", 200 pounds. Jaxon Smith-Njigba put up over 5,000 yards and 82 touchdowns at Rockwall High School in Texas. He was a 5-star prospect and the number 5 ranked player in the state in the 2020 recruiting class. He received a number of offers, including Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Arkansas, and others. Smith-Njigba chose Ohio State, where he caught just 10 passes for 49 yards in 7 games as a freshman. As a sophomore, JSN cranked up the notch to its highest level with a record-setting season. His 95 receptions were the 5th most in Big Ten history. His 1,606 receiving yards were the most ever by a Big Ten receiver, breaking the long-standing record held by former Buffalo Bills star Lee Evans. Incredibly enough, he did that while playing alongside Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, who were both first-round picks in the following draft, and they went on to have fantastic rookie seasons in the NFL. Jaxon Smith-Njigba capped off his historic season with a 15-catch, 347-yard, and 3-touchdown performance in the Rose Bowl. Smith-Njigba was locked in as the team's wide receiver 1 for the 2022 season after both Wilson and Olave departed for the NFL. Unfortunately, injuries held him to just 4 catches in 3 games. But let's talk about the positives, the things that we like in Jaxon Smith-Njigba's profile. The first is he is a smooth route runner. He creates consistent separation, he's got good hands, and he's elusive after the catch. Jaxon Smith-Njigba is quarterback friendly, meaning he works his way back to the quarterback, he finds open space on scramble drills, he's a reliable option on third downs, etc. And he had an age 19 breakout during his sophomore season. I've talked about it before, but we like guys with a breakout age of 18, 19, even 20 years old, because at that point, they're still developing. They're developing their game, but they're also still growing into their bodies, going through the college level workouts, and yet they're still beating out and beating up on 21, 22, and 23-year-olds. JSN had a historically productive 2021 season while playing alongside 2 first-round upper-class wide receivers. That is incredibly impressive, and we cannot overlook that on his profile. He averaged 7.3 receptions per game in 2021. He had a 3.3 yards per team pass attempt average in 2021. For reference, 3 yards per team pass attempt is elite, so 3.3 is off the charts, especially considering he was playing alongside Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. And then he had 11 career punt returns. We've talked about the importance of that in the past as well. It just shows that when teams put guys back on punt returns, they're saying this is one of our best playmakers. We want to get the ball in his hands as much as possible. It's just another green flag on the profile. On the negative side, Jaxon Smith-Njigba played mostly from the slot in college, and he will likely do about the same in the NFL, which can sometimes cap a guy's fantasy ceiling just a bit. He missed most of 2022 due to injury. He lacks explosiveness, he lacks deep speed, and he had just 1 season of meaningful college production. For archetype, like I just mentioned, Jaxon Smith-Njigba is a slot wide receiver. My best comparable for him is Amon-Ra St. Brown, and that's exciting. Amon-Ra has been extremely productive since day 1 coming into the NFL. In draft projection, I expect him to come off the board in the first round, and he's in the mix to be the first wide receiver drafted. It is so unfortunate that we didn't get to see Jaxon Smith-Njigba with his opportunity to be the clear wide receiver 1 in 2022 with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson out of the picture. But that doesn't take away from his impressive 2021 campaign while he was playing alongside those 2 studs. JSN is a technically refined route runner whose awareness and football IQ make him a quarterback's best friend. He's a smooth operator with good hands and a few nifty moves to add yards after the catch. While lacking in deep speed and the explosiveness to take his game to another level, Jaxon Smith-Njigba is able to use the other tools on his belt to create consistent separation. JSN projects as a high-end second option in the NFL. He will likely be confined to the slot early in his career, but he could develop the versatility to bounce outside at flanker. He is a lock to go off the board in the first round with a chance to be the first wide receiver to hear his name called on draft weekend.